Hi guys, welcome back. Be a short little video here. I'm out in the garage. Got a changing oil in my in-laws Trailblazer that we've actually had at our house for a long time, but I'm using it right now. I got my transmission out of my pickup here. The pump went out on it. I ordered a new transmission, so it'll be about 4 to 8 weeks before it arrives. So I need something to be able to get me to work because my wife will have the car. So that's been sitting here in our driveway for quite often now. Probably about the last year. We don't drive it a whole lot unless one of our vehicles are down or it gets really muddy. My wife takes it out to pick up the kids. But it needed oil change, so changed the oil on that. But figured I'd give you guys the update on the stove. Been going for a couple hours, but I had the only problem I ever had with this was the door not sealing right. So I bought some new gasket material. Went up a size. If you measure it out, you measure the channel that's along the outside edge that fits into, and this is 1/2 inch rope that's actually came out of it originally, and then I bought new 1/2 inch rope, put it back in there. Put new 1/2 inch rope in there, and so I end up buying 5/8. Bought a gasket kit off Amazon, just a Rutland 7-foot gasket kit. Comes with a 5/8 rope and then the cement to put it all in. So bought that. I think it was like 12 bucks, 15 bucks, something like that. But so I put all that in that door. I took all the old stuff out, wire brushed it all out, all this old cement all the way around, and then got it cleaned up really well. They tell you to dampen the channel and the rope, wire rope, or that fiberglass braided rope gasket material there, and then you put the about an 1/8 inch bead of that cement all the way around the outside in that channel, and then you press it in there and fit it in there, and then trim it to what size, how long you need it to be, and then you let it air dry for an hour. So I left the door open for a couple hours this afternoon after I got that done, and then this evening when I got back home after getting the kids from school and stuff, this bracket here, I can buy one on Amazon, or I don't know if I think Amazon had one. They're like 15 bucks, but they want like another $15 for shipping anywhere, and it's maybe 30 bucks total. You can find them different places, but I wasn't sure the exact model of this stove, so I really didn't want to buy it without knowing for sure. So I end up before I replaced these, I put rib nuts in there. They're just little rivets that have nuts built into them, and used a 1/4 inch bolt to bolt those in there, so that it just screws right down in there. Got it washered up to hold it for right, because the top has this gap there. I have 2 washers in there, and down here I actually have, or I have 1 washer up top, and I have 2 washers down here, and I actually could use another one because it's still not quite touching the bottom there, so they're not quite right. But I end up putting a pipe wrench on this, on the bottom tab here, bottom ear on this hinge, on the actual piece that bolts to the stove, and had to tweak that or twist that because the door would sag, so it actually sag downward. So I had to get that bent and twisted back so it'd lift that door and get it to set right, level across the top of that door. After doing that, then I loosened up the nuts and adjusted everything, got the door adjusted, and had to tweak a little bit more and got everything good. And then I started the stove for its heat cycle. The heat cycle, the heat cure that stuff, you have to start with a small fire for about ½ hour or so, they say. You want to slowly start to draw that moisture out of that cement, to cure that cement and that rope. And then you get a good hot fire. They want about 500 degrees for 1.5 to 2 hours. So started that all up. Well, then I discovered that it was still leaking just a little bit, which I assumed it probably would, but I didn't realize that this actually has a adjuster or adjustable on it. It's got an adjustment where I can slide that back to put tension, because right now it doesn't have any tension on the door. So I have a piece of sheet metal in there. But I don't know if you can see this here. Grab my phone. It's got some nuts or bolts that go in there to hold that hinge and all that stuff on there, so I can slide that back to put the proper tension on that door. But with the stove being hot, I didn't want to mess with that. So I'll do that after it cools down here, and probably next time I start it up. But show you that temperature outside here. It's 27 degrees. Feels like 19 outside right now. And in the garage over here by the stove, I'm at 80 degrees here. And so this is only a couple feet from the stove, 3 feet or so up higher, a little bit higher, but 80 degrees. But over here by the door, I've been in and out a couple times the last 10 minutes or so. But we're reading, I don't know if you can pick that up on there or not. It's about 66 degrees, 67 degrees. And I said before I started this video, before I went in and out, I go get the camera and stuff. It was about just shy of 70 degrees. It was about 68, 69 in here. Comfortable. And I said laying underneath that on the cold ground over there actually was not too bad. But so I got the elbows blowing out there. I got the damper all the way open on both sides, but I mean, it's hot. Stand here too long, you sweat too bad. So, but now that door seals and I can actually close the damper down, so I got the damper closed off. Before I had to have this open a little bit farther, about like that or so. But now I can close that all the way off. It's straight sideways. And it no longer leaks around the door. So definitely got that sealed up right, like it should have been, or like it should have been. But so that hinge piece was not it was a little warped and tweaked, and I tried bending it and never could get it, and fought with it and thought about ordering one and didn't want to order the wrong one. So I figured I can figure it out. Thought about maybe cutting the door off and changing the door, different style on the door, but glad I didn't do that either. But definitely happy with it. I never did seal off the front gap there or on the back. It blows the air out a little bit there. I mean, a lot of it's coming out the duct or the elbows up top, but it does blow a little air out the side. But kind of moves air back here by the drill press and the hydraulic press and up towards the workbench that I need to get cleaned off. So, but definitely happy with it. Like I said, I just figured I'd give you guys the update and how I like it, and a little bit I had to adjust afterwards. But so now that everything's done, it's definitely hot in here now. So that's with 27 degrees outside. I was out here last week prior to I just fixed the door tonight, but last time with the door not being that way where I couldn't close that damper down any farther, too far. It was about 70 degrees wall to wall out here in the garage, and it was only 20, I think 21 that night. So definitely works pretty well. But like I said, works pretty good. I do have this side does get a little hot, but I don't know if I covered in my last video when I making the stove or not getting it set up. This plate here is a 1/4 inch plate. I think it's 5, maybe 5 or 6 inches wide. But that being right up against the firebox in the back, it does get a little hot or a little heat transfer, and it comes right up to the side and puts it right in the side. On the back side here, I only have a 16th inch backing bar plate there. It's just 16th plate, just a strap that runs up and down. Always, it's got the same angle iron on the inside, and that does not have the heat transfer. It has one spot right down the side where the angle iron's at, from top to about a foot off the ground, but it does not have all of this. I said in the camera here, that looks red. It's not cherry red. it's brown. It's just burnt. It's getting a burnt color to it. Heat transfer. Oh, it's actually the kitty litter. If I stand in front of that, you don't see that, so it actually gets the real color there. So it does get that on the front side, but so that ain't gonna cause any problems, so we're okay with that. But other than that, said stove works great now. Got the door fixed and sealed up, and gets hot in here now. So well, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one.